Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I'm back after my break. It was pretty nice just sitting back and just having a little bit more free time to do other things like work on my car and do some other stuff. But I've been raring to get back to shooting some videos, and it actually, that time off actually let me sit back and actually let me focus on which videos and which news stories I kind of missed and things I needed to focus on more. And one is about the FISA court. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this a clickbaity title to try to get some more viewers on here. But one thing I was not aware of just 7-8 days ago is about the FISA court. But I got an article right here from The Hill. The article talks about how, well, it starts out about, it's about Richard Nixon's very likely his plan to bug the DNC offices back in, I don't know, the late 60s, I think, or early 70s, and how that was a big fucking deal. And they talk about how this FISA court and this FISA issue that just happened is an even bigger deal than that. Because I'll start right here. However, with the recent classification of the Nunes and Grassley memos from the House and Senate, in this case, the punitive crimes are far more serious than a failed attempt to bug the private office of a political party. These crimes have the potential to shake American confidence in otherwise prestigious institutions like the FBI, and the sanctity of our constitutional rights as citizens, especially those afforded by the Fourth Amendment, specifically protection against unreasonable searches and seizures or warrants being issued without probable cause. And if you're watching this, you actually need to just start disregarding the FBI as an organization that is working for the people, because I've done a video or two about how the FBI undermined and was actually able to collapse the Black Panther Party, and some of what they did was unconstitutional because they would just wiretap the those organizations' phone lines and just illegally spied on them. And the FBI also did that to Martin Luther King Jr. And the FBI or the CIA was also behind the assassination of JFK, their own fucking president, their actual boss. So some of these institutions, these intelligence institutions, should not be looked at as being an institution that is working for the people and is a good thing for the American people or the rest of the world, really. I'll skip a paragraph. We already know that during the 2016 presidential election, the FBI and Justice Department acquired a secret warrant to spy on U.S. citizen Carter Page, volunteer advisor to the Trump campaign. The warrant application was based on opposition research file paid for by the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton through her lawyer. This fact, that the file was paid for by the candidate and party running against Donald Trump, was not disclosed by the FBI or Justice Department to the secret FISA court judge to whom the warrant application was made. And also the fact that we have a secret court just undermines the fact that that court is actually trying to enact the rule of law. Because if you're doing something in secret, it's usually to undermine somebody's legal or at least moral protections that they have. But mostly we're talking about legal protections. Okay, so I'm going to go to the FISA memo too and talk a little bit about specifically what's in here. Oh, actually I'm going to start right here. Okay. Here's part of the FISA memo I want to talk to you guys about. It says right here, due to the sensitive nature of foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions, including renewals before the FISC, are classified, so they're doing all their shit in secret. As such, the public's confidence in the integrity of the FISA process depends on the court's ability to hold the government to the highest standard. And since it's done in public, or in private, sorry, the public can't really just have faith that the government's gonna actually hold itself to the highest standard. Because they do say they have 90-day renewals of surveillance. But even though they have their own safeguard in place to try to reinforce that they actually need to have evidence, just the fact that it's a private court really doesn't provide any protection for the people. And then what's interesting about this application for Carter Page, it says that government had at least 4 independent opportunities before the FISC to accurately provide an accounting of the relevant facts. And then they say the findings showed that there was important information that was just disregarded. Like number 1, I'll start right here with the dossier compiled by Christopher Steele on behalf of the Democratic National Committee in the Hillary Clinton campaign formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC Clinton campaign by the law firm Pickens Coy and research firm Fusion GPS to obtain derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Neither the initial application in October 2016 nor any of the renewals disclose reference the role of the DNC Clinton campaign or any party/campaign of funding Steele's efforts, even though the political origins of the Steele dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. And then I'll go at B. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but it does not name Fusion GPS and Principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm, Pickens Coy, representing the DNC. Then there's some other stuff, but a lot of it's just that the FBI lied about all the information to spy on Carter Page, which they shouldn't have, because they wanted to spy on Carter Page just so they could try to undermine the Trump. They're trying to undermine the Trump campaign, and using the government to undermine your political opponents is an obvious form of corruption and overreach of government power. There's some other information, but one thing I noted that was pretty important here was Strzok was reassigned by the special counsel's office to FBI Human Resource for improper text messages with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page. Who cares about the affair, but where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump and in favor of Clinton, whom Strzok, I suppose that's how you pronounce his name, had also investigated. The Strzok-Lisa Page text also reflected extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, including a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. So they're either planning to try to cheat President Trump out of winning the election, or they're talking about after he won, how they're gonna, or after he wins, how we're gonna try to undermine his authority because they wanted Clinton to win. And since President Trump is actually their boss, that's very problematic. And in obvious ways, they're undermining the will of the people, because all the citizens of those certain states that were critical to President Trump's victory, a lot of those citizens wanted President Trump over President Clinton. So for them to say they're gonna work for insurance policy is just showing you right here, point blank, that it's not Russia that the United States or the U.S. citizens need to worry about, but it's our own fucking government officials. A lot of these people in positions of power are working to undermine your votes and your rights and your desires for the government to work for them. So don't keep watching news shows that keep talk about how Russia's undermining our elections, because the truth is that our own government officials undermine our own elections, not to mention the elections of numerous nations all across the world, while at the same time overthrowing fucking governments, which is even worse than just undermining other elections.